Good afternoon, adjudicators, audience, and my parents. Thank you for coming here today to listen to my PDP presentation. The emissions research question is removing CO2 emissions, how to stop global warming forever. Climate change is bad. Addressing climate change requires a coordinated effort from individuals, communities, governments, and businesses. Here are some key actions that can contribute to mitigating climate change. Transition to renewable energy. Advocate for and support the transition to renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower. Encourage governments and businesses to invest in clean energy infrastructure. Energy efficiency. Keep it up. It's fine. Promote energy efficient practices at home, in the workplace, and in communities. Support and implement energy saving technologies and practices. Sustainable transportation. Promote sustainable agricultural practices that reduce emissions and prioritize soil health. Support local and organic farmers who employ environmentally friendly farming methods. Advocacy and education. Raise awareness about climate change and its impacts through education and public outreach. Advocate for policies and regulations that limit greenhouse gas emissions and promote sustainable practices. Corporate responsibility. Encourage businesses to adopt environmentally friendly practices, reduce emissions, and invest in sustainable technologies. Use public transportation, carpooling, cycling, or walking instead of relying solely on private vehicles. Advocate for the development and use of electric and hybrid vehicles. Reduce, reuse, recycle, minimize waste by adopting a lifestyle that prioritizes reducing, reusing, and recycling materials. Support and participate in local recycling programs. Forest conservation. And throw soup at paintings. Support initiatives that focus on preserving and restoring forests as they play a crucial role in absorbing carbon dioxide. So, as a result, we must do anything in our power. We must do anything in our power to be able to convince the government to change the world for the better and make the world a better place. Well, let's see how that has brought us. Look, it's rising. It's rising until now. Nothing is happening. It's all going wrong. We tried so hard. I mean, you've seen those demonstrations and all those people doing those stunts. We've tried so hard to get the government to do something, but nothing happened. If anything, look at this. This is 2020, and in 2023, it's going up. It's still going up like nothing has happened. Next slide, please. The statistics of Doomer thoughts. Now, this is a statistic of whether the population of the United States believe that corruption is widespread throughout the country. And look, 75% believe corruption is widespread. Next. And this is the Indonesian version. The question is if they believe that corruption will increase or decrease, whether they're optimistic or pessimistic about it. A quarter of them believe that a quarter of them are pessimistic about it. They, next. You believe that we're living in end times. 39% of them believe yes. That's crazy. Like 50 years ago, that no one will think that the world will be ending. It's just now. Now, this is a research that I think is actually crazy. I am shocked by this because I really wish that this is not true, but when I look at the source of the study, Lancet Planetary Health, it is a really big study that uses 10,000 people from 10 different countries across 3 continents. So I really wish that the data is not true, but it's true. 55% of people believe that humanity is doomed. Next. 75% believe that the future is frightening. Next. 54% believe that they won't have the same access and opportunities that their parents had. The things I most value will be destroyed. 54% believe in that. And 39% are hesitant to have children. I lied. The research question is not about climate change. It's about what is this Doomerism epidemic and is it a bad thing? And what can we do about it? Okay, so for information, Doomerism is like a word for a very fatalistic and pessimistic view on the world. So it's just doomer. So they believe that doom will happen. And yeah. So this is the meme, very funny meme. I started this research because I'm really a fan of these memes. So this Doomerism stuff. Doomerism. So the driving reason why this research was conducted because of the significant impact that the rising generation may have towards the struggle against climate change. So as you see that the climate change is going at a snail's pace, so support from the youth may step it up here, but it's not true. Global warming is still rising as fast as possible, and the economic growth that happened in the 20th century came mostly to a grinding halt. And plus that, in terms of politics, there has been a backsliding in democracy. There's been a rise in authoritarian rulers in these democratic countries, like Donald Trump in the USA, Shinzo Abe in Japan, Angela Merkel in Germany. So next, Doomerism.
Finally, tomorrow is Saturday. I will wake up early and have a productive day.
So, according to Mijia, it's a very radically pessimistic attitude of political fatalism present among younger generations in Western cultures. It refers to a belief that systems of the world economics and governments is irrevocably broken and is impossible to fix, thus also believing that the world is going to end no matter what anyone does. Other words that describe similar meanings and notions are youth disillusionment, where he refers to it as the disillusionment of the youth in a political system, resulting in the drop in participation rates among youth populations. Doomerism is caused by the impotence and despair, pointing out that the pessimistic view that news channels tend to air and the lack of improvement in politics in democracies across the world. Doomerism is a nihilistic and hopeless view of how the world works. And doomers are very disillusioned with how things work. So they basically given up on any cause, and they believe that there is no point in acting, or that they personally cannot act. They mention of things like a sixth extinction, global pandemic, zombie apocalypse. Like they talk about those things like the world's going to end. They talk about not having children. They talk about making a doomsday bunker. And in online, there's this large community that is very popular among youth. Many of us know about it. And they engage in a lot of dark humor. An notable example is the meme culture that was presented here, that has formed in the community. So it centers around an archetypal character with an exhausted look. And his name is called like the Doomer or Wojak, often sporting a black beanie and a shirt with an exhausted look, meant as an embodiment of the pessimistic sentiments that members of the Doomer community inhabit. There are dangers that comes with this culture. It's not just a bunch of jokes, and a lot of people are part of this, and thanks to things like this, they find relatability, and even they how can we tackle it? Someone answered masculinity. So this refers to something pretty bad. Here, next video, please. This Andrew Tate. He is a very, very popular YouTuber. And next slide. Next one. Okay. He is the most Googled person in the internet right now. He beats Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin by a long shot. So this doomer movement it's very dangerous because it serves as a pathway to extremism, to extreme ideology, and Andrew Tate is one example of that. And what do we do? So, the reason why I didn't show the Google Forms and the research that I did was because it ended up being quite useless. Because I realized that the MSCS school is actually a very good school. And all of us have very good and very positive views on the world. But we kind of know that they can be quite vicious on people like that. They are weak and stuff like that. It's quite, yeah, they can be quite vicious. And next slide, please. Like that. So we can be quite vicious on them. And honestly, the way to really fix the problems that we have in the world is to treat it with kindness. So when I had this interview with Mr. Mingus. He is the expert in my research. Since he's a student counselor, so he has seen very many things. So he knows that he's seen very pessimistic and sad people in his life. And he knows that it's part of life and it's normal. But as time goes on, we must learn to grow out of it and not be desperate in life. So, this is the gift of Sisyphus rolling a rock off the building. So it's a reflection on life. We as students, our lives are kind of like this, right? We study, we go home, we rest, and we do it all over again. This seems like a pretty sorry state. It's pretty sad. But according to this philosopher, this French philosopher I know, Albert Camus, he said, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. He's not saying that Sisyphus is happy. He can believe whatever he thinks and he can feel whatever he feels. He's just saying that our lives are very much like him. Our lives as students and perhaps our jobs later when we're at adulthood. His story is not a cautionary tale. It's actually a reflection on our reality. He's suggesting that we and Sisyphus, we can be happy in our situation. Although it is good that we are informed of the state of our world and our lives, we can get swept up in all that and let it bleed into our lives. We have to learn to be able to turn that off. Perhaps for our students, we should cherish more of the times we spend with our friends. Well, and perhaps we can be grateful for the fact that we can become educated while we are in school. And we can be grateful for the warm meal that awaits us at home. Perhaps in Sisyphus, we can enjoy the view, I guess. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.